right. We're here.
We're here. We did it.
The wedding episode. I'm a wife.
And I'm a husband.
And we are... let's start that over. Or not. I don't know. Hey, guys. It's Alana.
And Jake.
And
no, I kind of like the...
We'll keep
I'm
it
a
all.
wife. I'm a husband.
We'll keep it all.
And this is seeing other people.
And life in progress.
And life in progress.
This is both. It's a very special episode. Wherever you're listening, we're so excited that you're listening. We're so excited that you've been along on this journey with us. I apologize in advance for my voice.
Yeah, you're struggling.
This is really rough. I'm also a little sick. Naturally, that is so to be expected. So I might be sniffly. I might be blowing my nose throughout, but we're going to keep it raw and real and probably unedited, realistically. We're recording this on Monday, June 3rd. 2 days after we got married.
Can't believe it's been 2 days already.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know.
It all happens so fast. I will say, everyone says that, and it's probably the most true part of it, is that once it really starts, once like 3-4 o'clock starts, it's over.
I will say on like Friday or even on Thursday, people kept asking like, are you so excited? And like I had left early last week, I left stress world and entered like excited world. But by Thursday and Friday morning, I kind of felt the sadness. I was like, it's already over.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like hype over to a wedding for a full year.
Yeah, we were 14 months.
So you have a whole year of thinking about it and planning it. It's all your conversations with your family and your friends and what's going on and are you ready and what's happening with this, what's happening with that. That then when it comes, it's so fast of a weekend. Mm-hmm. But I think it lived up to the hype, I will say. I know you've been saying that a lot lately, that like all the anxiousness, all the worrying, all the planning has really paid off, and I agree. It was really, really special. I think better than I had even hoped it would be.
Yeah. I didn't know what it would feel like. I mean, even during we'll get into like the whole weekend, but during our rehearsal dinner, we were like, it doesn't feel like our rehearsal dinner, but everyone's speeches are about us.
Yeah. I will say it still felt that way throughout the entirety of the thing. It just like,
it's like we're at someone else's event, but it's for us.
Yeah.
And about us.
Yeah.
And with all of our people. It was like, I don't know. I guess that's what it's supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was perfect.
No, it was amazing.
It was incredible all around. So I guess let's start with, the week leading up to it. Let's start there. The week leading up to it, we had very different weeks. My week was all like planning, finalizing last minute details. And I'd say by like Tuesday, like it was all done. Like what's done was done. And then it was just like appointments and stuff, which I didn't do that much. But I did my toes and my nails on Wednesday and a hydrofacial. And then I did a lymphatic drainage massage on Thursday. And Jake came with me to my last training session with Daniel McKenna, the Irish Yank. And that was really fun. I'm glad we did that.
That was very fun, yeah.
I'm glad we did that.
It was awesome.
He was incredible. And I'm so glad that I worked with him and used his app like leading up to the wedding for a few months. I do think that all the work I put in and all the just like going to the gym and doing the at-home workouts, like I actually think it really helped my confidence and like
definitely
me looking back already at the photos and stuff and videos from the weekend. Like I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did it.
You crushed it for sure.
Yeah. So we did that. And then, Friday morning we went up to Westchester. So our wedding was in Westchester. We're both from different towns, but in the same county. And we found our perfect venue, and it happened to be like 5 minutes from Jake's house.
Yep.
Which was awesome. And being both from Westchester, like we had very few people actually staying in the hotels because most people like had a place to stay, like either a friend's house or their parents' house, their own house. So we got back to Westchester, checked into the hotel. Jake went and got a mani-pedi. How was that?
Yeah, that was great. I mean, it's a little tough because I don't do very well with people touching my feet.
It tickles.
So the lady was definitely like, oh, this is your first time doing this. And I was like, yes, which she just thought was very funny. And then my fingernails, I unfortunately bite my fingernails, so they didn't have to like clip them.
No, but they still like made your.
I do think they looked
made your
much
fingers
better, though.
Look a lot nicer.
Yeah, I will say I think it did help actually. It's a good call.
Yeah, you'll do it again someday.
Maybe. Yeah.
Cool.
The feet one for sure.
Yeah, it tickles.
Yeah.
I still try not to giggle or like pull my foot back.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and then we had our rehearsal dinner at Patsy's in Harrison. Shout out Patsy's. It was so perfect. It was exactly what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think we talked about it the night after. We're like, oh, the staff like did a really good job. They felt like they were like on it, really working really well. Like we're well prepared for it. I think my mom went the day before and just made sure everything was set up. Yeah, that Friday night was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and it was this beautiful big room, and so it was around 80 people. So it was basically the people who would have been in our wedding party, and we'll get to that later. So like our friends and their significant others, and then family, like cousins, extended family, and out of towners.
Yep.
It was about 80 people, big room, and they had a little stage, and we got microphones for speeches, and we had a little cocktail hour at first, and then it was like full like 3-course meal. The food was incredible. I love the food there.
Yeah, I love that type of setup. I mean, we've been to a bunch of weddings together, and I think some of my favorite rehearsal dinners are the ones that like have that 45 minutes to an hour of like greeting people, right? You start to say all your hellos, things like that. Could see all your friends. Everyone has like a drink or two. You know, we had like pass around pizza at the time. And then it moves on to the speeches, which is really like spaced and paced out by the courses of dinner, which I loved.
Yeah. And it was all family style food, all great Italian food. So thank you, Patsy's, for having us. And yeah, we had 10 speeches, which is a lot. It was a lot of speeches, but we love speeches. Like when we go to other people's rehearsal dinners, like I feel like the speeches make the whole weekend so much more meaningful.
Yeah. And I think specifically for us, I felt like an extra level of that. I mean, I know we'll talk about our vows in a little bit too, but I think the speeches with our vows, I think everyone crushed it. Yeah, it was really, really special from everybody.
Yeah, we cried a lot. So we had
we cried a lot this weekend. There was a lot of crying, a lot of happy crying.
The only time in my life I had ever happy cried before this weekend was when Jake proposed. And I burst into tears. I did not know I was capable of doing that. Fast forward, I probably happy cried 75% of this entire weekend. And I'm still happy crying when talking to people about the wedding, when looking at pictures and videos. Like, I just start crying again. I had no idea I could do this.
Yeah. We were joking with our neighbor, Sammy, but she like came up to us during the wedding, or came up to me during the wedding and just like gave me a hug. And I like started crying again just from like seeing her. And like, I don't know. It just was all really surreal.
We cried so much.
Cried a lot. We're very emotional.
People were like, I didn't realize. I think it was like my mom. She was like, I didn't realize you and Jake were this emotional. And I was like, neither did we.
and I have been saying for forever that I was going to cry this entire day and during the vows and what I've always said that.
You have, and
from
I didn't believe you.
From the moment you said like, we're going to do our own vows, I'm like, I'm just warning you, I'm going to cry the entire time and it's going to be like messy.
I didn't believe him, but the surprising part was that I cried too. I didn't expect to cry like
that would have been so awkward if I cried the entire time and you weren't.
We'll get to
I'm glad we're on the
later,
same level.
But we cried so much. So we had both of our moms spoke. Every speech was incredible. Our moms crushed it. We had
I wasn't expecting that so much from Nancy, I gotta say. I thought she was gonna come up and say like 5 words.
No, it was beyond. We had Jake's brother / best man, Jeff, and one of my like childhood best friends, Jessie, kind of like emceed the night. Jessie and her husband Blaze gave a speech. They're also my old roommates, so like that was really special. My 2 maids of honor, Julia and Christina, who are also like childhood best friends, gave such an incredible speech. Oh my God. My cousin John and his wife, who's also like a sister to me, Angie, gave an amazing speech. Jake's friends, Brian and Frank and Danny absolutely crushed it. Cohen gave a speech and crushed it. Am I missing anyone? Oh, Brian and Ann. Oh my God. Brian and Andrew's speeches were amazing. Yeah. Okay. We got to pause here. Okay. So at the end of Brian's speech, they played a video. He said, we're the brothers speaking up here, but I think there are other brothers you would rather hear from. And Brian went and pressed play on a big TV screen that they rolled in, and there was a Jonas Brothers video wishing us a happy rehearsal dinner.
There was. Can we talk about the other crazy part of it?
We can talk about it.
Okay.
So,
because this is wild to me, and I hope people understand how wild this is. If anyone knows me and Alana, I have been making TikToks for the last like 50 days asking the Jonas Brothers to perform our first dance song at our wedding. It was only prompted, like originally there was no chance because they had the world tour going on at that moment. Like during June, we're always like, oh, they got the tour going on.
They were supposed to be in Austria.
Yeah. And then we're going to go see them in Paris. just in 4 days during our honeymoon. But they pushed that tour back, and the day they did it, they were in like a specific outfit, background, etc., etc. The video that we got from them for a rehearsal dinner, if you watch that video and the video of them pushing back the tour, they must have shot it back to back.
Within a minute.
Like literally being like, Alana, congratulations. And they're like, all right, next video is
pushing the world tour
back. So like the video didn't come from my TikToks. Let's just say that, you know what I mean? It was choreographed long before that. And it just was wild when they came up on the screen and we saw like what they were wearing and what their background were. Me and Alana were like, why are they showing this video of when they canceled the world tour or pushed back the world tour? So that was just wild, just thinking about like at the same moment for them, you know, within the same day at least, right? Same hours at least, they made those 2 videos, which I think is just insane.
Yeah. I think everyone was so shocked that the video was there. And for us, we were just so focused on the fact that it was the same day that they recorded it. And it was before Jake started posting his videos.
Yeah, so it wasn't in response to the TikToks or anything like that.
And it's so funny because I mean, we know for a fact, like so many people sent it directly to their team, like people who are in touch with their team and like have contacts with their team. So and all the tens of thousands of tags. So every time they got it or saw it, they were probably like, we already did something. I wish someone told you to give up. Not give up. It was fun. I'm glad you did it.
No, because I think I would have liked a response because really the point of me making the TikToks wasn't to get like a video or things like that. It was because they had pushed the tour back and we weren't seeing them on our honeymoon anymore. I mean, obviously, again, to perform our first dance song was like not a realistic thing. Like that wasn't ever. That was just part of the fun, like to get a response in some kind of way to the TikToks. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's wild, like that moment in time for them is they had no idea, right? And it's not like they knew we were going to Paris and that like the next video that they were making was like
crushing our dream. But no, it was incredible. Like shout out to Brian for thinking to do that. Shout out to Olivia Rudinsky for helping make that happen. My friend Olivia, who has this company Fan Made, and she just makes incredible like moments like that happen for big fans. So thank you, Brian and Olivia. Yeah, it was incredible. It was tough. Like it was so hard narrowing down like who to speak, and there were so many more people that like we wished could have spoken.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It's like we told everyone like 3 minutes and everyone's speeches were 10 minutes.
Yeah, there were a lot of speeches for sure. I loved it. Could have listened to everybody in the room kind of get up and talk at some point. But yeah, I think for the sake of maybe extended family.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Okay, so after that night, we went back to our hotel.
Yep.
Controversial, but we stayed in the same room the night before.
Yeah, I will say all friends and family were like very 50-50 on it. They're like, oh, I'm not doing that. They're like, oh, yeah, we did that. It was 50-50 across the board.
I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I wouldn't have slept as well. We got to like discuss the night that just happened, which was really fun. We got to like wake up with each other. And then I mean, the next day we weren't together very long before we left, but like, it was still good. Yeah.
And I made a conscious effort. Like we didn't talk from the moment like you left the hotel to the moment of the first look. Like I didn't text you once. You didn't text me. Like we didn't speak to each other.
Yeah.
But no, I completely agree. I think it was really special to be able to recap the night. Like it was such a special night. Like I think the cool thing about the wedding is like when I look back on our wedding, it wasn't just the wedding day. It was the whole weekend. It was the rehearsal dinner. It was the wedding day. It was the wedding night. It was the brunch. And I think it was really special. Like I was thinking on Friday night, like I would have been so sad to not be with you that night.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So guys, screw traditions that you don't want to do. Okay, wedding day. We made it. June 1st, 2024.
Yes.
Our wedding day. Where do we begin?
You want me to start with my day?
Yeah, we had very different days.
There's not that much for my day. My day. So as Alana said, we grew up close to the venue at Old Oaks. So I just went back to my house all day, and I didn't like play golf in the morning or do anything. I kind of just like hung out, like had breakfast with my family, like went on a couple walks, practiced my vows again, and that was kind of it. It felt like could have been any day at any time of my entire life. It just was like a normal Saturday. It was wild. At around
You had a bit of arts and craft project to work on.
Yeah. My brother was putting all of our vows into this vow book that Alana made, which is really cool. Like, we'll have it for forever. They're these, like, small vow books. But it took us hours to actually get these vows into the book. Originally Alana was like, it's a 6x4. So we like printed it out 6x4. And then it was like, wait, this doesn't fit. And it was like a 5.5x4 or something. He made it like so exact. Like, Jeff is very like Cliff, where he's like, I need to use the thing and cut it exactly.
It sucks because I feel like
if I made it versus Jeff making it, it's a totally different project.
I wish I could have just done it for you.
Yeah. Anyway, we reprinted it and cut it like 3 different. We didn't have like a cutter, right? So you're like cutting through a bunch of pieces of paper.
It's not that hard.
I'm just telling you, we struggled. It took hours. Shout out to Jeff. He was a great best man throughout the entire weekend, from emceeing Friday night to doing the vow books to everything else that he did. And also a lot of energy in the wedding, which we'll talk about in a little bit too.
Yeah.
But yeah, at around 1:15, 1:30, I started getting ready. I think the people came over at 2 o'clock. The photographers at 2 o'clock. They came a little bit earlier than we were expecting. So like, definitely my mom and dad were a little bit behind.
They told you they were coming at 2.
I know, they came at like 1:45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and they were like ready to kind of go. We took pictures in my backyard, which was fun. Like, got
I can't
ready
wait to see those.
with my dad and my brother and my mom, and that was really fun. In Sydney, and then we headed to the venue, and it was very funny for us because the photographer left for the venue first and was like, "Let me go, make sure she's like not outside, and that you can come, and I'll tell you exactly where to go and whatnot." So they went. They're like, "Just wait here," and then we left. Immediately forgot something, had to drive back to the house.
What'd you forget?
Jeff had forgotten my extra white shirt, which I never switched into anyway. Then we left, and then I forgot something, so we went back again. Forgot the cologne this time.
Oh my God.
And then we finally got there.
That's really funny.
Sat in the car with my dad for like 20 minutes while we waited for you, because I think everything was just a little bit behind. And that was it. Then the next time I kind of walked out, took some solo pictures, and then next thing that I had was our first look.
All right. Okay, so my day. So I did not sleep the night before. I was like tossing and turning. It was so hard to sleep. I think I was up from like 2 to 4. Do you remember this? I was up for so long, and at one point you were like, "You're awake?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been awake for 2 hours," and you just said, "Go to sleep." You just said, "Go to sleep," and then you like passed back out. I'm like, "Oh,
I'm a good
thank
sleeper.
you. Okay." Cool. I did not sleep all week. I'm very tired and getting sick. Anywho, so yeah, I had to be at the venue around 9:30, and so my mom and I went. My dad dropped the 2 of us off there, and it wasn't go immediately. It was very chill. It was a very chill morning. There were a lot of questions about who I had getting ready with me, and did I have a bridal party? And a lot of you know that I chose to not have a bridal party. And so the questions that you guys sent in were really like, what was that experience like? So I had my 2 maids of honor, Julia and Christina, getting ready, and then my mom, and then Jake's mom came. And honestly, I was sitting there thinking, if there was one more person in this room, I would have a breakdown right now. Part of it was like the bridal suite situation. Like, just think of like a hotel room with like a bed and then like some space. Like, it was a beautiful room, beautiful space, but there's not that much room for like people. And it was relaxed. It wasn't so rushed because there weren't that many people. I had an incredible hair and makeup team, Essie, Cohen, and Antonella, who I found through Bridal. They were so, so incredible. And just like brought the energy, brought the vibes. We had like some music going. We had food and coffee, and it was very relaxed. And I do remember sitting there thinking, like, I'm glad I made this decision. At the same time, like, yeah, I wish I could have had all of my friends there. Like, I wish I could have, popped champagne with all of them and getting ready photos with all of them, because I've loved doing that at my other friends' weddings, and I've been so honored to be in their weddings. But I do think at the end of the day, like, having a very, very small group of people getting ready was the right decision for me. And yeah, so I did that. It was very, again, relaxed and chill. And then as soon as my hair and makeup was done, that's when it was go, go, go. It was like, okay, now her hair and makeup's done. Okay, now they had to take the photos of me, like looking at my dress, and then photos of me, Julia, and Christina, and my mom, like just like the cute little, like we're in our pajamas and we look great photos. And then it was, okay, like get Alana in her dress. And immediately, the second I was in my dress, Barkley came, which honestly, I don't think Barkley recognized me in my wedding dress. He was very overwhelmed.
Me either.
He was very overwhelmed. But our friends, Julie and Danielle, brought Barkley, and I'm so glad he came. Like, honestly, me holding him just like brought me so much like peace and comfort.
He was there for the perfect amount of time. I think.
I'm so excited to see the photos and videos of him. He did walk down the aisle. My brother Brian walked him down, and he was happy, and he actually did sit through the ceremony without making a peep. Julia and Danielle were so prepared. They like had a peanut butter Kong, and like I'm so glad that he was good, because it also meant a lot that they got to stay and watch the ceremony.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that I'm like gonna cry again already. Oh my god, fuck.
Oh.
Shit. It's gonna be a long episode. So yeah, Barkley was great. I'm so glad he got to be there. I'm so glad we got to have him. Yeah, so it was go, 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 and then it was time for the first look. I'm probably missing things. Oh, I haven't posted these yet, but you guys probably know like my favorite videos to do are like the transition videos, like the getting ready. So I had to do those, and I refused to let myself forget. So the second I got in my dress before Barkley came, I was like, nobody interrupt me. I have to finish my transitions, and I did, and I'm so glad. I'm so happy I did them. I did the song "Verge" by Owl City, and I did "You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home," Hannah Montana. Okay, time for the first look.
Yep, first look.
First look. I started tearing up walking towards Jake. I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Jake was standing there for a while before I was there.
I was standing there for like 20 minutes, like talking to the photographer. So I think I just like, I don't know. I didn't cry at the first look.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's not like your first time.
I know.
No, I know. But I think there's a lot of pressure.
That's what it felt like.
On people to cry.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't cry. It was amazing. It was beautiful. You looked amazing.
Yeah.
The dress was like beyond perfect. I think I also got it pretty accurate. If you go back to my drawing and Life in Progress episode, I had always said it was going to be like tighter up here, like
straps.
This, and then puffier down low. I feel like I kind of nailed that, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't go with the sleeves personally.
Yeah. And now I want to show you the other dresses I was between. That'll be cool. We haven't done that yet.
We can do that
for
sure. That'll be fun.
I was nervous. So for me, okay, let's talk about the dress for a sec, because there were a bunch of questions about the dress. So as you guys know, I tried on 79 wedding dresses. The dress that I went with was number 11. It was from LaFay Bridal. The lace, the like kind of sparkle, the A-line, like that's not surprising to me, but it was fully like a corset and like a little see-through, and that not something I ever in a million years expected my wedding dress to look like. I don't know if I pulled this dress off of the rack at LaFay. I don't know if Mackenzie, she's not there anymore, but she was incredible, and then Stephanie was their whole. You guys, if you're getting married or going to get married, you have to go to LaFay Bridal. It's L'Fay. It's on 58th between 2nd and 1st. They're so incredible. Anywho, I just kept going back to pictures of that dress. I kept looking at it being like, I've never felt more beautiful in anything. Like I'll show you the picture that I kept going back to, but I just kept looking at it, and I kept thinking about it throughout my whole dress process, and I kept comparing everything to it. So the dress designer is named Sebastien. He's a German designer. Again, I had never heard of him. I had never heard of Sebastien. I wasn't like, I need a Sebastien wedding dress. It was just like a dress that I tried on that I fell in love with, and for weeks I just kept thinking about. And so yeah, it was A-line. It had straps. I love the straps. The straps are like my favorite part. And the corset, that's what I was nervous about. I didn't know if you would like that or not. And I wasn't sure at first. I was a little self-conscious. Like, is it too see-through? Are people going to think it's slutty? We did add a little more like applique around that area to cover up some of like, they call it the boning, like corset lines. But it was a dream dress beyond. Like, I felt like a princess. It came out perfect. We haven't gotten the previews yet from our photographer, but I'm like going to lose my mind when I see them. I already know it. So that was the dress. And then, yeah, we went and took a bunch of photos in such beautiful locations. They like golf carted us around.
Yep.
The whole grounds of the venue is on a golf course, and we went to the entrance, which is like lined with all these trees, and it's just like spectacular. And then they like whisked us away again on the golf course to this other area with like a bridge and a pond, and we took a ton of pictures.
Yeah. Super, super excited for the pictures for sure. Definitely the most like stressful part of the day, I think. I think you had always said that. You were always like, we're gonna fall behind. It's gonna feel hectic. Pictures are always hectic. Yada yada yada. And it definitely was. And like towards the end, it was like really, I felt hectic. We were just like get pictures in, click click click, on to the next, click click click, on to the next.
Yeah.
But I was trying to like remind myself, because that was the only part where I felt like kind of stressed. Kept reminding myself, I was like, this is what Alana says always happens, so it's fine. We'll get through what we can get through. People be happy either way. It's all gonna be fine.
Yeah. So we had told our extended family, we hadn't done our family photos yet, so we had to do like immediate family photos, and then we had told our extended family to come at 4, and we told the friends who would have been in our wedding party to come at 4:15 because we still wanted to take photos with them.
Yeah.
And we don't know what time it is. We don't actually. It was so funny. Jake had his watch on, and I look and I'm like, it's not 8:30. Like I wanted to know what time it was, but honestly, I'm glad that I didn't. But his watch like did not have the correct time on it. But our photographers were like so chill, cool as a cucumber. They're like, no, we got plenty of time. We're all good. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, we're good. And then we get back and everyone's like, we're so late. We're running behind. Yeah. We're not going to get all the pictures in. We're like, oh my God.
And we're like taking pictures out front where like everyone is walking into. So like everyone's like stopping to see us and like, look what's going on.
Everyone saw my dress before the ceremony. I was like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
like, I can't care.
Definitely not the end of the world.
No,
by any means.
It's a white wedding dress.
And probably realistically, what I think we'll be happy with at the end was we had more pictures with each other, and like I'm sure the photographers knew that too, where they're like, this is more special, not more special than all the pictures with our friends and family and stuff like that, but like. We'll take our time with this part. Yeah. More so. And I think that made a lot of sense. And we'll look back at it and be like, yeah, we're happy we did all that.
And I feel like we did spend a solid like 25, 30 minutes taking family photos.
Oh, easily.
And then we did get the extended family photos in. We did get the friends photos in. So it all worked out. It was just very, very rushed, but I completely agree. And then, so right after that, we had our ketubah signing, which for those who don't know, the ketubah is a Jewish marriage license. And we also had to sign our marriage certificate, our actual marriage license. So we did that in a little room with our rabbi, and it was definitely rushed, but it was really nice. It was really special, I thought.
Yeah,
and sure. that was the last thing we did right before the ceremony. And then in the 4 minutes before the ceremony, we both went and peed because we had to do that. Carly redid my hair, like fully redid my hair while Barkley was on my lap. It was a very, very hectic 4 minutes.
Yeah. Can I rewind for a second though? Yeah. Before we get into like walking out there. Friday night we did a little bit of rehearsing, and I think that all of our family was like, why do we need to rehearse? We know how to walk.
They were complaining about it before, and I was like, we have to get to the rehearsal dinner early to do an actual rehearsal.
And then let me tell you, we needed way more practice on that part. Like me and my parents were like, what do we do? How are my arms held? Where are my hands held? As we walk down the aisle, like I'm so curious to see what that video looks like. They're both be holding hands in like a different way. Where people like sit, everyone's like, do I go right? Do I go left? And it's like, yeah, this is why you practice at least once. So if anybody's family is giving them a hard time about it, like I think as Alana again said, like be a little anxious about all this stuff, like be over prepared for it. Because it helps. Yeah,
for sure. I'm glad we rehearsed. Wish we could have rehearsed more. But it's all good. So we then lined up. So Jake and his parents went out. What was it like for you walking down the aisle?
Yeah, so it was a little chaotic, like I was saying, because like I don't think we were like well enough rehearsed. So we were gonna go like locked arm style, and when we started walking down the aisle actually wasn't wide enough to do that for like three of us. Really? Is how I felt. I was curious when you were walking down because you had 3 too, and And then I was like, wait, we have to stop in the middle for a photo. And like me and my mom kind of stopped and my dad like kept walking. So like, I think everyone was just a little, that's why I come back to this. Like the practice was actually an important part of the rehearsal. And then we got down, gave them hugs. Didn't start crying yet. Then Jeff came down. Yeah, we might cry right now again.
Yeah.
Then Jeff came down. I cried, giving him a hug. Jeff's my brother. And then was it Brian and Andrew and then Christina? And
Yeah,
Julia?
so we had everyone walk individually since we didn't have that many people. Oh, so yeah, one of the questions was who walked down the aisle. It was immediate family and Julia and Christina, my maids of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Andrew, then Brian and Barkley.
Andrew, then Brian and Barkey, which was awesome.
And then Christina and then Julia.
Then Christina and then Julia. So I got to give everyone like hugs and see everybody, which was nice.
I was
Christina
watching
for a second didn't give me a hug, and I was like, Christina, you're gonna give me a hug? Like, oh.
I've definitely forgotten to give the groom a hug. I forgot to give Jason a hug at Carly's. Like I've definitely forgotten a few times. Because it's so nerve-wracking. Walking down the aisle at someone else's wedding is so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It feels like there's so much pressure. You don't want to mess up. Everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But so when you and your parents started going, so I could see like from the room that we were coming out from, like I could see them. And the second you and your parents started going, I started bawling from behind. And I was crying the entire. They're like, Alana, like wipe your tears. They're trying to wipe my tears away. Like, and I'm so sniffly, and I'm just like already a mess, and I haven't even walked yet.
Yeah, the ceremony was a lot of crying. I think the entire time we were crying.
Waterworks,
yeah,
fully waterworks.
Then you came down with your parents. I was definitely crying then, and I remember asking the rabbi right before we came out. I was like, how like soon after are the vows? And he's like, right away. Everything's really fast. And I was like, oh, okay, which I was happy about. I didn't want to like. Wait, like go through all these things. And then when he went, he literally did like one thing, and then it was like on to the vows, and he was like, okay, Jake, go for it. Actually, I think Cohen came up.
Came up. So I went to walk down the aisle, and I'm just crying the entire time. Like crying the entire time. I saw you started crying. You were crying. You were like
crying.
Holding your face like and it was
oh God, those pictures.
I hardly remember walking down the aisle. Yeah, every picture from us at the ceremony is just like, we're not going to look good. We're just going to be crying. But it's okay. It's real. It's love, you guys. I hardly remember walking down the aisle. Like that part feels like a blur. I remember like, I think I told my parents, I'm like, go hug Jake. Like, go. I didn't know if I was supposed to hug you. I didn't really know what to do when I got down there. Yeah. But we got up. And yeah, it was just immediate tears. We had Cohen come up and read a poem called What I Learned About Love I Learned from My Dog. I love that poem so much. I heard it for the first time at her wedding, which is the one that I officiated. And so it was really important to us that she was a part of our ceremony too. And officiating her and Sam's wedding was like, will always be one of like, I think my favorite memories in my entire life. So I'm really glad that she got to also be a part of our ceremony.
So funny.
So yeah, so the vows. So
Alana's legitimately crying.
Let's back up. We planned to do. Let's actually back up before that. All year, or literally like even before we got engaged, like every time we were at another wedding, like we always love hearing people's vows. We love hearing that, and we love when other people's ceremonies make us tear up. But Jake always said, like, I can't do it. I'm not doing her vows at our wedding. I won't get through it.
I mean, I would cry at every wedding, everyone's vows. I could have just met them like a second ago or whatever. And I've always said the reason why is, yes, because it's like beautiful to watch friends get married and like people you love like find their person, things like that. But I always was like, as soon as someone would start talking about theirs, I would think about ours, and I would start to think about what I would say to Alana, and then I would start getting like emotional, and then I would start tearing up. So I was like, how would I ever be able to actually get up there and I know I'm a crier. Like when I start talking about something like that, I just cry. So yeah, I don't know. I knew that I was going to cry the entire time.
And it's funny because I didn't believe him because like I don't like, I know he loves me, but like every birthday card and anniversary card, it's like he writes like one line on it, you know? So I'm like, how is he going to like write all these vows that are like going to make him cry the whole time? But so basically what our plan was, like he thought he was going to be really anxious about it all day. And our friends Jamie and Steven got married in December, and they told us that they actually did their vows privately during their first look. And then they did them again at the ceremony. And they said, not only did that help shake off the nerves, but that was their favorite part of their day. And so we were planning on doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that made you feel better.
Definitely.
And I was like, listen, like, I never wanted to force you into doing it. Like, I always said, listen, like, if it's ruining your day, like, and like you're full of anxiety on the day because of that, like, I'm not going to ruin your wedding day by making you do it. But if we can do it, I think it would be great. Yeah. But we came up with the plan that we were going to do it during our first look. As we mentioned, things were hectic. Yeah. We forgot to do it. We forgot to bring the vow books and forgot to do it during our first look. And then we're like, oh, okay, we'll do it another photo stop. We'll do it another photo stop. And then there was just no time.
Yeah. Like, and I think we ended up being very happy that we didn't do it first. Like,
I'm so happy that we didn't do it.
I don't know if we would have felt, I probably still would have cried, but I don't know if it would have been as much than hearing it for the first time up there.
I'm so glad that we did it for the first time during the ceremony.
Actually, they were handing us the vow books as we got into the golf cart, and the photographer was like, no, we're not doing it right now.
Yeah.
He was like, we don't have time to do this. And also rightfully so, because we didn't have time to do it. I mean, our vows are long. I mean, half of the ceremony was us crying, reading our vows. I can only imagine in person. Then it's like rushed with people in front of us.
Yeah.
Now, when you're up on the stage, you're not rushed. Like, it was all what it was.
There were a lot of sniffles. Literally, I actually, before I started, I was like, I'm sorry, I need to blow my nose, you guys. Like, and I literally like blew my nose standing up there because I was so sniffly, I couldn't get a word out.
Yeah.
But they were incredible.
Yeah, the vows were great. They took us a while for sure. We cried throughout them all. I mean, I'm sure you'll have the video at some point to like post and share the vows. I think we both hit on a lot of the same points.
But in different ways.
In different ways, for sure. Talking about like, I talked about the dates that like I fell in love with you, and you kind of did that too. But I think mine were like these bigger moments, like One If by Land, and like you interviewing the Jonas Brothers, and me meeting Barkley. And yours were like all the smaller moments throughout all of it.
I don't know if you guys are watching this or listening to this, but
if anyone's watching, Alana is like fully crying right
now. Yeah. You guys will hear them someday.
Yeah, you'll hear them.
Not today. I'm sorry. Stay tuned. They were so special, and we got through them.
Yeah, the ceremony was great.
The rabbi
was amazing.
Guys, if you live in like the tri-state area, and you honestly, if you don't like fly this man out, Rabbi David Levy, I'm so happy.
That was the best decision we've ever made.
He's incredible. He was so incredible. We both like grew up going to temple. We both had rabbis, but we never really felt connected to them, and we really didn't know like what to do. We knew we were gonna have a rabbi marry us, and shout out to this girl, I think Nicole, who saw my random TikTok. This was like 2 minutes into a TikTok of me talking about like, this is in like October or November, like everything I did this month as a June 2024 bride. And at the end of it, I listed the things I had to do next. And this girl DM'd me and was like, oh, like I'm actually getting married the week after you. Like this rabbi did her cousin or sister's wedding like the year before, and she loved them. And I had gotten so many rabbi recommendations that week, like probably like 40, and no, probably like 12. But I, for some reason, decided to look into Rabbi David. And for some reason, he's the only rabbi that we reached out to. And we got on a Zoom with him, and we were like, he is perfect.
Yeah.
So personable, so much like character. He made us laugh. Like he was just such a great person.
Yeah, he was just like a nice person, like good person, like wanted to do whatever we felt right with doing the wedding. He was like, the ceremony can be this, it could be that, it could totally whatever you guys want.
We met with him a few times.
I felt like he genuinely got to know us, like genuinely cared about us and like what we were like. I remember I think one of the first times we Zoomed with him after we like agreed to do it, and he like was like, all right, tell me about you, Jake. And I kind of went through like my work life, and he was like, yeah, like how about like outside of like your resume? And then like so much more stuff popped up, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. He really does know a lot about us by the end of it. It was super cool. It was actually very fun. I enjoyed every time we got to hang out with him and talk to him and meet with him.
Me too. I definitely like.
I know you're gonna have him on the podcast.
Yes.
I think people
guys, stay tuned. He's gonna come on. He's oh man, I'm so excited.
That'll be a fun one.
You should be here. Do you want to join?
I can't wait to listen to that.
You want to join it?
Maybe
that'd be so fun. No, he was so incredible, and so many people after were like, "Who was your rabbi? How'd you find him? He was amazing. Like we wish he stayed the whole night. Like
he could have stayed the whole night. He was awesome.
Yeah.
Like literally the best decision that we made.
Yeah,
was
agreed.
doing that.
Yeah. So after the ceremony ended, we crushed the dip. High five.
We did.
We did.
And that was practice too.
Yeah, we practiced a lot. After the ceremony ended, we went back into this little like private room. And the venue had set up like a little
This
spread
is one of my favorite parts of the night, I think.
Yeah.
Was like Old Oaks knew that right after the ceremony would be overwhelmed and everyone goes back to a room and like gets like the appetizers and they're like, what's your drink of choice? We'll have it waiting for you and a glass of water and the room will just be private for you guys. And we have to go back and be like, wow, we did it. I'm going to cry now. Because right after that, I mean, we were so emotional. And we one thing for me that was tough is so going into the ceremony, I did not eat enough. I will say that. Like I was starving going into the ceremony and I went sockless or very low cut socks. So my feet were killing me. Be comfortable, people. I think that's important. And so getting in there and being able to like take off my shoes and put on like a real pair of socks was big for me. And then getting to eat was also big for me. So it just felt like a lot of pressure was taken off right when the vows were over, right when the ceremony was over. Yeah. And it felt like the night was like the party of it was really starting.
Yeah. And Barkley came and visited us.
That
was really nice.
Awesome.
So after that, there were a few more like photos and videos we wanted to get. There's two TikToks we've been planning all year. You guys will see them.
Yeah.
So we had to do those after.
People comment on those.
God,
TikToks.
if those flop, I quit.
If they flop, every wedding we've gone to, we've done these 2 videos to make this final video at ours. So please don't make our time wasted at 15 weddings.
And all the people we like begged to like, we pulled away from the wedding to like, come film this video for us, please.
And then we're like, do we twirl this way or do we twirl out?
Every single time. We still don't know. We still don't know. But you'll see it. And I have to give a shout out here. Guys, Sabrina, Dear Bride Social, our content creator.
Yeah, she was awesome. She was everywhere the entire night.
Oh my, she was like the first to arrive. She arrived like an hour early. She stayed till the end. Two vendor shout outs I want to give right now, but Sabrina, seriously, even if you're not into content, like even if you're not planning on making content, I think everybody should have a wedding content creator to take all these photos and videos and be with you the entire time, because we've gotten to look at them and like recap and like see every second of us being on the dance floor, and it's just so special to have that right away.
It's like you have some friends that took videos throughout the course of the night, right? And they have like a few videos here, a few videos there.
We have the entire wedding.
But she has everything. She's like that friend that is just recording the entire night away. Every angle, like you're not looking. It's not like, it's all very candid, right? Super.
Yeah,
super cool.
She was incredible. So Dear Bride Social, seriously, like I said, like even if you're not into content, like you do it and use her. And then the other vendor, because you guys asked like what splurges or like things like the best money we spent with the wedding. Marisa, she was a month of coordinator. We didn't have like a full wedding planner. She was our month of coordinator. She stepped in 3 months before. I was like, oh my God. And she helped. I don't know what I would have done without her. She works for Rhinebrook events, and she helped pull every single detail together. She was coordinating between all the vendors. She did the timeline. She fully like ran the show. She was like, she had my chapstick and lip gloss the entire night. Like she was running all over. I don't know how she does what she does, but I am so glad we had her, and I can't imagine having made it through this wedding like as perfectly as we did without her. So thank you, Marisa. And yeah, I think Marisa and Sabrina were like the 2 vendors that they're not on everyone's vendor list. Like a coordinator and a content creator are, you think of like the band, the photos, the florist, like those are the main ones. But I can't imagine this wedding being as perfect as it was without Marisa and Sabrina.
Yeah, definitely. They were awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about like Old Oaks and like how awesome they were, and then like how we found the venue?
Yeah,
and
we're gonna go so over time. I just want to. We're leaving. Oh my God, we're leaving in 3 hours.
Okay,
we're good. Well, we can leave at 4. We can leave at 4.
We're good.
We're good. Okay, this is important to do. Okay. Yeah.
Because I think that story of Old Oaks is really cool, and I also thought the whole team at Old Oaks.
Put the pillow on Barkley's face.
Sorry, and I thought the whole team was incredible. Yeah. Like the food was amazing, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. But just the whole day, like they were just so perfect. And they don't do like a million weddings. This isn't like a wedding venue. It's a country club that like we just got really lucky getting it.
We don't belong there. Like we had no business having our wedding at Old Oaks.
Yeah, we were very, very, very lucky for a lot of reasons to be able to do our wedding there. And it was perfect. Like I could not imagine doing it anywhere else. And so the wedding ended up taking place outside in this tent, which everyone will eventually see too. And that was a long debate for us too, where it was like ballroom or tent. And ultimately to do inside had to be under 190 people. We could make our people work. We ended up at 196. But I think we just felt like outside was better space for everybody, like open, really special. And I think it turned out that way for sure. Like I think it worked out way better than we ever hoped it would work out.
Was the most beautiful like wedding room I've ever seen. And it was nothing like what I had pictured, because we had always pictured having a wedding in a ballroom.
Yeah.
That's what we were used to. That's what we pictured all year. And it was like breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah.
They had just set up all these like twinkle lights on the ceiling and a splurge. So someone asked again about splurges. This was the one detail. I had no idea at first. Like when we got engaged, I had no idea in the world what our wedding was going to look like. I knew one thing. I wanted a white dance floor.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad
100%.
that we had that white dance floor. And listen, it was expensive to have the white dance floor, but it added so much beauty to the room. I think it makes all of the photos and videos look so much like just so perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Like white dance floor. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so the wedding. So the party. So we did our entrance.
So cocktail hour. I mean, we so I think a lot of people don't go to their own cocktail hour, which is why they bring you the food and the drink. And we did a very, very quick amount of time. I think the one shout out in the cocktail hour was we didn't have sushi, but we had a poke bar area, and people raved about that. Now I didn't get to actually try it.
I'm really sad about it.
I think that was pretty cool. People love that.
If we had seen that at another wedding, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, I think so too. So if that's an option for you guys, it was definitely a crowd favorite, and it's significantly cheaper than having sushi, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't an add-on.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Sushi was like an extra like $35 a person.
Yeah, it was
for everyone
crazy.
to have like a few pieces of sushi and half the people not to have it at all.
Yeah, and poke was
included.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, we did some content, and then we practiced our first dance and our entrance, which I think was good. Like, I'm happy we got on the dance floor, because doing the first dance in like your street clothes and whatever versus even me in my tux, like how much like movement I have in my arms and stuff, and then you in your dress, which is like puffy at the bottom, to like do the pickup and the whole move. And we'll talk about the first dance in a second, but yeah, I'm happy we got to go practice it at least once before we got out there.
Agreed. And then we practiced like during, I think, the dip, like you didn't fully have me when we practiced it, so we like re-practiced the dip over and over.
Yeah,
like it was great that we were able to do that.
Yeah, and then we did, I think, really well once it came to life.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, we did our like grand entrance, and we came out to "Remember This" by the Jonas Brothers, and we had our band sing that. Oh my God, our band.
Yeah, the band was incredible.
Hank Lane is the company, and our band is Sugar Lane. And the entire night, everyone was coming up to us saying this is the best wedding band we've ever seen.
Yeah, the main three things that I think people took away from the wedding were our vows were so emotional. Everyone that we talked to was like, we cried, like with you guys, which looks like I'm about to cry and Alana's about to cry. 2, the poke station, and 3, that the band was unbelievable. Those were the 3 major takeaways, I think, from everybody.
Yeah, agreed. So we did "Remember This," and then we went into our first dance, and we crushed it. It was perfect. We absolutely crushed it. And everyone's thinking, like, were you disappointed that Jonas Brothers didn't come? Like, not for a single second.
No.
Like, I wasn't, like, thinking about it in that moment. I think I like, made a joke, like, they're not here. Like, and then we just moved. Like, I don't even know if I said, like, it didn't matter. Yeah. It didn't matter at all. It was perfect.
Yeah, no, I never for a second I think they were like really gonna come. I know you did, which it was just no way. I thought. But no, it was perfect the way it was.
Yeah.
And it was the way we practiced it too, right? Like it was actually
Right.
important that like the music
timing.
came on and the timing was the way it was. I know I
Yeah.
joked about that and they would make it work with or without them there. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad we practiced it as much as we did.
Yeah, we ended up practicing more than I think
Most people do.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was fun. I liked practicing.
Once we got good at it, I was like, man, this is so easy.
Yeah,
It's
we
like
were great.
It's like 4 moves. Like I could teach somebody this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Shout out Maya
Yeah.
Moves. Maya Moves.
Yeah.
She did come on the podcast recently. But guys, 125%. Like if you are getting married, go do one dance lesson. It's one dance lesson. She only does one. Go do a dance lesson with Maya Moves. It was so fun.
It was
I'm
fun.
so glad we did it.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
And I'm glad we practiced it because then it made us
Yeah.
practice other stuff too. And I'm like, literally, she taught us how to do like even do a dip, right? I
Yeah.
think like if me and you tried to do a dip before Maya, then it would have been like kind of awkward and weird. And then she was like, no, you like lean like this and put your leg up like this, and Jake, you hold her like that. And I was like, oh, this is how we should actually do it.
Exactly.
And so it actually taught us other parts throughout the night. And then you have other little dance moves that you now can do as well throughout the course of the night. Good boy.
Fluff. Hi. He's sleeping and so cute. Yeah. Then we went into the hora and we went up on the chairs and our band ended up doing this like kind of like rappy remix at the end. And so
Yeah.
many people were like freaking out about it, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then, our dads gave speeches that were amazing.
Yeah.
We gave a little quick speech, just like thanking everyone for being there.
Yeah.
And
Cut the cake. Ate dinner.
dance.
The food was great. I gotta say, people are always like I never eat dinner at a wedding, blah blah blah. I thought everything was great. I've only heard good things from people so far.
Yeah.
So hard to feed 196 people at the same time, but yeah, Old Oaks I think really delivered. I mean, awesome job.
Agreed. So yeah, we danced a lot, a lot of dancing. I have never sweat more in my entire life.
Tricks.
I was drenched. Like
See,
I'm looking
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that hot.
No,
in there,
nobody
though.
else thinks that it was my dress and how
Okay.
much I was dancing. Like I'm like,
'Cause the
it looks
weather-
like my hair wasn't done. It looks like I got out of the shower, let my hair half dry, and showed up to this
Something
wedding
we haven't talked
by
about
that time
yet.
because of how much I was sweating.
Something we haven't talked about yet. The entire weekend weather was beyond perfect.
Oh my god!
It ended up being probably slightly too hot on Saturday, but it was fine. Like it was perfect.
It was.
We were the only ones in
dream.
the sun for the ceremony, and then once we got into the wedding, into like the outside tent, the temperature was fine because it was like low 70s, mid 60s. Like the rest of the night, like cooled off, really nice as the sun went down. I don't think anybody thought it was like too hot, too cold. Like it was just perfect.
Agreed.
And yeah, we danced the night away. Did a lot of magic tricks, a lot of drinking. It was super fun. I think seeing all of our friends and family. Yeah, like again, it didn't feel like our wedding, but then it was like, oh, but these are all the people that I love to be with and hang out with and drink with and dance with. And
I think once we were dancing, it felt like to me, it felt like our wedding.
It was so
like
fun.
once we were doing the first dance, like then I was like, this is our wedding.
Yeah,
We're at our wedding. I think one of my favorite moments of the entire day and night was we chose our last 3 songs. I highly recommend doing this because like you get to kind of like you sort of curate what you want the band to play, but it's also at the end of the day it's up to them and they know what the vibe is and what song people need to hear in what moment. But we chose our last 3 songs and the third to last one was Mr. Brightside. And something about it, I mean, always a banger at weddings. We were just in this circle of all of like our closest friends and I'm just looking around and I'm seeing like all of these faces of like the people who have just changed my life and like like been there for me through everything. And like I'm looking at like each one of them like, oh my god, like I don't know, I was just so like happy and grateful and it just felt so magical in that moment. Oh my god, tears are literally streaming down my face right now. And I just started hysterically crying on the dance floor. like hysterically crying.
We cried like on the dance floor. I mean, I said that about Sammy walking by. I started crying. Like, yeah.
During the ceremony. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to point out. For anyone getting married, I highly recommend this. During your ceremony, have your rabbi, your officiant, whoever's doing it, have them at some point in the beginning announce like, you guys, you're at your wedding right now. I want you to take a second and like look around and just look out at the crowd here and like all of these people. And I think that was so meaningful to do. And as I did that and throughout the ceremony, I kept looking at I don't want to say like the audience, but like I kept looking at everyone there. And every time I would see a different person's face and I would just like start crying again. Like it was so special because that's also the first time you're seeing everyone there. And I'm so glad we got to do that.
Someone told me at the cocktail hour, they're like, that was so cool. I love that. Like you had to like soak it in for a second. She's like, I want to see that more at weddings. Yeah. It was very cool.
It was special. So yeah, we danced. Our other two last songs were, so we went Mr. Brightside, Unwritten, Love Story. Yep. And then we went to the after party. People were definitely
after partying, drinking, drunk. It was really fun. It was really fun. I don't remember most of it, honestly.
Jake dropped me.
Allegedly.
There's no evidence of it, but in my defense, I jumped you.
Gotcha.
But I could have like cracked my head open. Yeah. He just fully dropped me and then also fell. It was so fun though. It was at the venue, just in a different room. We had a DJ, very curated playlist. It was like Hannah Montana, like Freaky Friday, Lindsay Lohan, Ultimate, Jonas Brothers, like All Night Longer. It was like banger after banger, and I couldn't be happier with how it went. And everyone loved it. You were worried that your friends wouldn't love it.
No, it was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell them what happened after?
Yeah, I mean, after the party, I was a little drunk.
A little.
And we get into the shuttle, which the shuttle was funny because, as Alana mentioned, not a lot of people were staying at our hotel. So it's like it was a small amount of people. I wasn't feeling great on the shuttle back. Felt like I was going to throw up. The driver was like, if you throw up, it's $300.
I'm like, okay. What are we gonna do? Like, it's gotta throw up. It's gotta throw up. Like, at least it's him and not like a gas. We had his face in a garbage can.
Yeah,
he didn't throw up.
Didn't throw up. We had 2 stops, so I get out on the first stop, and Alana's like, "You can walk home from here."
Well, no. Okay, hold on. No,
that's how I was told the story went from Alana.
We got to the hotel, and I thought that our hotel was first, and so I'm like, all right, we're here. We're at the Opus. Like, Jake, get off quickly. So he gets off and he goes, I'm gonna throw up. I ask the driver, can I take the garbage bag? He goes, sure. I throw the bag to my cousin. I'm like, John, help Jake. So John goes off the bus. They're standing right at the bottom of the bus. Jake's like, all right, I'm gonna throw up. And he starts throwing up. And then I realize we're not at our hotel. We're at the other hotel. Yeah. And I'm like, well, he's not getting back on the bus now. Like they're like, the hotels are like walking distance. Like not that. I thought they were closer than they were.
It was fast. I mean, not that I really remember the walk that much, but I remember it being fast.
But I'm like, I'm not letting him back on he's already throwing up. He's not going to get back on the bus now. So I'm like, all right, like you guys do that. Like everyone else gets off the bus. And I asked my brother, Andrew, I'm like, Andrew, like, can you stay? Because I have a lot of stuff to bring back up to the hotel. I can't do it by myself. And he's like, I'm gonna go help them both.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, bye. So Carly and Jason and me were the last 3 on the bus. We went back to my hotel. They brought everything up with me. And I'm going to share from my perspective what happened. About 30 minutes later, my hotel room door opens. I'm kind of questioning, like, did I just break all my vows by leaving Jake on the road in the middle of White Plains?
Yes, seriously.
But I left you in good company of my family.
People aren't asking enough. Hey, you left me with John.
And Andrew.
Luckily, Andrew was like, yeah, I'm going to go too.
Who knows where me
and John could have ended up?
Well, we do now, sort of. But all of a sudden, my hotel door opens and John and Jake walk in and they are dripping. Like water is getting all over my floor. Jake's shirt is off. They are soaked. And I'm like, guys, what did you do? And they decided it would be a good idea to go into a fountain.
Yeah. We passed this fountain, and I think John's like, you won't jump in it. And then I was like, yeah, I will. And then we just went in together.
It's the funniest. And when I heard about this,
fully jump into a fountain.
You laid
back into one
for a solid 10 seconds
for no good reason.
You guys were kicking. You're like, woo, woo.
Major mistake.
It immediately after. So I'm like, I please God hope there's video footage. And I didn't see Andrew until the brunch the next day. And I'm like, Andrew, please tell me you captured that. And he did. And it's the funniest thing ever. And immediately right after, John goes, why did we do that?
Yeah, no, it was a bad call for sure.
It was hilarious.
But that's drinking for you. But no, it was all fun. We were okay. I remember doing the fountain part. I think throwing up was mostly because we also got into like a bus and stuff like that too. I don't think I was like the most drunk I've ever been in my life.
You weren't, and you were not the drunkest girl at the party either.
No,
there were more drunk.
I will
boys.
say,
there were more drunk
even just in the Solomon family, we drank and we made sure we got our money's worth in alcohol for sure.
So funny.
So there's this thing that I've like always done, and it's like a magic trick, and
you referenced it so many times when we got up and spoke, and I'm like, only 30 people here know what you're talking about.
But people learn throughout the night.
True.
But a magic trick is pretty much just finishing your entire beer.
Jake just goes like, "Do you want to
or...
see a magic trick?" And then he like makes his drink disappear by drinking it.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So there were a lot of that throughout the course of the night, and everyone's like taking shots, like, "You want to see a magic trick?" And it's like, take a drink or whatever. But yeah, I mean, other people that were drinking a lot. My brother drank a ton. Like I said earlier, brought a ton of energy to the night. I think Jeff like had the time of his life. Was great energy. Was like perfect. Best man vibes out there. Did an awesome job. My dad drank a lot. He had an interesting night too. So his night ended with
Hold on, can I?
Sure.
So not sure where Jake is. Okay, finally Jake gets back. Jake immediately goes to bed. Me and Jeff's girlfriend Sid end up FaceTiming, and me, Sid, and Jake's mom, Nancy, are all FaceTiming. Jeff is face down on his floor, passed out. Sorry, Jeff, exposing you. And Jake is passed out in bed, and nobody knows where Jake's dad is. And we're trying to figure it out. I'm calling all of Jake's friends whose phone numbers I have, and we hear that a rumor that he might be with one of his friends, the one friend whose phone number I don't have.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to break into Jake's phone. Jake has told me his password a million times. I have a bad memory. So I'm trying to wake him up. I'm trying to like use the Face ID. I'm like slapping him like, "Jake, wake up. What's your password?" He goes, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, "That's not your password." He's like, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, "Jake, what's your password?" He's like, "I don't know. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, oh my God. So it turns out.
I didn't even know my phone was there. I woke up the next day and you were like, "Oh, your phone's here, by the way."
Yeah.
Because I didn't have it on me the whole day from 4 till
I got it.
till the next day.
So turns out.
Yeah. So it turns out my dad went to a bar with two of my friends, DeSanti and Rowan, in White Plains. My dad's 71. And it was him.
This is at 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m. I have a text from my friend being like, "Buddy, I need to let you know that me, DeSanti, and Cliff are at the bar right now at Brazen Fox in White Plains." Anyway, so my friend ended up like taking him home, driving my cousin home, then my dad home.
But instead of home, they went to the bar.
And then he drove him home. So thank you, Mike, for taking care of my dad.
Just so absurd when we found out they were at the bar.
There's a
drinking.
really funny picture of the three of them. I need to see
that.
I need to get it from someone. I think Rowan had it. Yeah, so funny. But yeah, everyone did amazing. Like totally awesome time. I thought drinking levels were like perfect. Like, people just had a good time ultimately, or at least that was my perspective of it all. And yeah, it was super, super fun. A lot of dancing, drinking. Just again, like you said, like with our best friends and family. Yeah. And yeah, I think we crushed it.
I agree. And yeah, we had a beautiful brunch the next morning with, again, it was like, I think we invited like the out of towners and the people who would have been in our wedding party.
Yeah.
And it was at Jake's parents' house. They hosted, and it felt like it was like our birthday. Like,
yeah,
it was
I
so
knew going into the brunch
wonderful.
That it was going to be the best brunch.
It was incredible.
I challenge anyone to go to a better brunch than to our brunch. Like, it was at our house where we have like a very pretty backyard. There's a lot of like seating areas. The food was amazing, like these bagels and lox, and then they had an omelet station. They had waffles. Like, brunches are typically, in my experience, like at the hotel block.
Yeah.
In like a little conference room with like a continental breakfast. This was just so much better in my opinion. Yeah. And then we were there the whole time too. Which I think helps. And there were a lot of different areas, and you weren't stuck in a room and like, what table do I go sit at and then like quickly leave. I felt like people can hang out as long as they wanted to or not.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to just like all of our vendors for anyone who's wedding planning right now. And then I want to answer a few last listener questions, and then we gotta go. So again, dress, LaFay Bridal and Tom Sebastien. Hair by Antonella. Her Instagram handle is hair_by_Antonella. She's the sweetest human being alive. Makeup, Essie Cohen Makeup, at Essie Cohen Makeup. Rings, all of our rings, like all of my jewelry actually, like my tennis bracelet also. Flawless Carat. So that's where we got that's where Jake got my engagement ring, my wedding band. That's where I got Jake's wedding band. It's my maid of honor, Juliet's her dad. I have known him for most of my life. Scott Klein, he's the most incredible man ever. And like also like a dad to me, and he made our ring dreams come true. And it's so incredible to work with him. He can make anything custom that you want. Even if you see like a David Yurman bracelet that you want and you don't want to spend David Yurman prices, like he will make it for you. You would never know that it wasn't the bracelet from David Yurman, because it looks exactly like it and it's just as high quality and amazing. But all of his diamonds, all of his jewelry is 11 out of 10. Our planner, again, Marisa from Rhinebrook Events. Our florals, Frank's House of Flowers. Frank is incredible. He actually did my bat mitzvah and my brother's bar mitzvahs, and we were so excited to work with him again. Again, Sabrina, my content creator, Dear Bride Social. Our band, Sugar Lane from Hank Lane. And I also rented earrings from Verstola, and I was so excited about the earrings. I knew I wanted them for forever. They were actually named Alana before I had them, and I was like, Alana needs to wear the Alana earrings, and they just were the cherry on top. And our photographers and videographers were the most incredible team ever. We used Fred Marcus. It's Fred Marcus Studio. We used Anton and Juan, and they were so high energy and so fun to work with and made the day so great. And we haven't even seen the pictures yet, and I just know they're going to be beyond our wildest dreams. So thank you to all of our vendors. I'm sure I'm forgetting others, and Ivana at Old Oaks, if you happen to be listening to our podcast. Ivana, we love you so much, and we will always be so grateful for you. Okay, quick last questions, and we really, really have to go.
Hour 10? Yeah,
we have to. It's 12:19. We have to get right to bring Berkeley.
Okay.
Okay. So lastly, it's on here. It's not on my phone. Okay, so questions. Someone said, I'm a hyper planner and anxious. What of the planning prep helped you stay in the moment the day of? And I want to kind of combine this with the questions of like, was it worth all the stress? And what could you have stressed less about? I will say throughout the entire process, everyone was like, Lana, like, stop stressing. It's all going to come together. Like, don't micromanage everything. You don't have to like lead the show here. You don't have to stress over the cocktail napkins. They're just napkins. Like, all the details are just details. It doesn't matter. I'm so glad I stressed over every single little thing.
Yeah, every time someone came up to you and was like, oh, I love the matchboxes that like have your initials on them, or I love the cocktail napkins, or whatever those details, like I knew it made you so happy.
It made me so happy.
Because those are the things that you appreciate at the weddings too.
Yeah. It's the small details. Our cocktail napkins had our date numbers on it. We had 4 different kinds, and I stressed over those so much, and I'm so glad I did, because they were perfect and so meaningful, and we'll have them forever. Our matchbooks, I actually recently found matchbooks for my parents' wedding, and I think that's so special now that we have our own too. And I think me stressing over every detail, me knowing exactly what was going on when and where, and having everything in place, like I wasn't stressed the day of. I felt fully confident that everything was going to come together perfectly because I had put the work in before, and I was able to be 1000% entirely present during our wedding.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it at all. And if you're a hyper planner and anxious, like hyper plan the fuck out of your wedding. Just do it. Like do it, and then you'll have full confidence that it's going to be perfect, and it will be. If you had a small wedding budget and had to cut something from your wedding, what would it be?
I mean, I don't know. Like,
I don't know
have
either.
No idea.
I can't answer that. Any wedding regrets or things you wish you did or didn't do? I think the only thing that we said is we wish we took like family photos in the photo booth. Oh, MASH booths. Unreal photo booth. People were like, these are the highest quality photos we've ever seen from a photo booth. MASH booths. Use them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think all in all, it was like truly just beyond.
Yeah. I think my only regret, I see regret on there, is not eating more before the ceremony. Like I went to the ceremony, like I said, pretty hungry. And like I think that made it even harder going up there. Like, you're so anxious from the day, probably not hydrated enough, haven't eaten like a full lunch. Now like all this pressure, you just ran around taking pictures. Everything's like a rush, which I'm kind of happy it was. I'm happy we didn't like sit around waiting for the ceremony. I think that would have been like way worse. I'm happy we just like,
I've never seen that happen ever.
Just got out there and like did it. But yeah, I would have eaten lunch. Yeah. So guys, eat lunch.
Yeah, I definitely ate I wish I had gotten to eat more of our actual food. Like I ate our main course, I ate the little appetizers that we had,
100%.
but I wish we had gotten to see the poke bar. I wish I had gotten to cake. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with our cake. First of all, it was so freaking beautiful and it was unreal. Just Desserts by Jess. Okay, Just Desserts by Jess. She's based in Thornwood and she can make any cake of your dreams. She was amazing and the cake was phenomenal. I already can't wait for our anniversary so we can have it again. Yeah, I knew I was forgetting someone.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
we did it. We're
That's
married.
it. We're married.
Our honeymoon. We're leaving for Paris tonight, which is why we have to end this now. We're leaving for the airport in like 3 hours, and we have to take Barkley to John and Angie, who are watching him, and then we have to finish packing. So a lot to do, very little time.
Yep.
But we're married, and just
Definitely glad we had this extra day, by the way.
Oh yeah.
If you're thinking about like when you should do your honeymoon, I would 100 like I know some people go the Sunday after. I think making this on Monday.
Yeah, thank God.
I don't know if we left last night. We would have had to be fully packed before the wedding, which I think is hard. Like you're already stressed about the wedding, so like packing would have been difficult. And then B, we're just exhausted. I mean, last night we were so
the most tired I've ever been in my life.
And yes, could we have taken an overnight plane and slept on the plane and maybe caught back up? Probably.
Like I already feel sick. And I slept in my bed for 10 hours.
This day of like just catching our breath, getting to come back to Barkley, getting to like just be here with each other and recap the day, I think was really nice and on point and special for us too.
Agreed.
To now like set up when we return.
Yeah, we crushed everything.
Yeah, I think we did. I feel really good about everything.
I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, you guys, that's it. Stay tuned for all the
Barkley looked
content to
when
come.
we kissed.
Aw, Barkley gets so jealous when we kiss. Every time we tried to practice our dance, he would start barking and jumping on us.
I can't believe we did not make content about that.
Okay, we have to stop talking. Okay, love you guys all so much. Follow along, Seeing Other People, Life in Progress. It's Life in Progress on Instagram. Alana Dunn, Jake Solomon, 71693 for all the content. Follow Jake on TikTok. The bigger thing that happened, yes, Jake became a husband this week, but he also hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, and I'm so proud of my husband.
And now it's 1,115. No big deal.
Who's counting? Okay, love you guys. And shout out to Cami for editing this overnight so it can get to you. And shout out for Carly for doing content and Cami for doing content all week. And I love you all. Bye.